MLB The Show tips, roster predictions for Friday, May 27th. And in this roster prediction, we're going to do a little differently, especially for two players. I'm going to break down exactly what their attributes are doing, why they won't go up as much as you think they should, and what they're fielding, what their position, and how all that matters. So just as always, we'll start with catcher and with reliever. Leave your comments below about the guys that you think deserve the upgrade or the downgrade. We start with a positive for a change. Wilson Ramos hitting over 330, 5 home runs on the year, and he's got very even contact splits against righties and lefties. Over to first base, Miguel Cabrera +1. The reports of his hitting struggles were greatly exaggerated. Miggy, 5 home runs in the last week, bringing his total to 11 on the year, all against right-handed pitchers. So I could see his power going back up against righties, but maybe against lefties slightly dipping. Steve Pearce, +2 for Tampa Bay, deserves more contact and power upgrades, especially against lefties. Absolutely killing them. 5 of his 7 home runs and a .400 average against those southpaws. Over to second base, Daniel Murphy of the Nats. I think he gets that +2 finally, hitting .400 the month of May. What else does he have to do to prove he deserves more contact, a little more vision as well? Over to third base, Todd Frazier just crushing home runs, 14 on the year. But listen to this, 12 of those 14 have come against right-handed pitchers. So that's really where I could see the upgrade against the power versus righties. So give him a +1 overall. At shortstop, Francisco Lindor of the Indians. I mentioned him last week, so what did he do to follow it up this week? He went 3 for 3 off Chris Sale in Sale's worst outing of his year, maybe his kryptonite. But it's not a huge surprise. Lindor hits lefties extremely well, .420 average, and that's where I could see the upgrade. Contact versus lefties for Lindor, +1. Now over to left field, Ian Desmond, +2, hitting over 300 this month with several home runs, and he's heating up, especially against left-handed pitchers. I don't think there's a position more interesting to talk about than center field this week. Yoenis Cespedes, give him a +1. But I'm going to tell you right away that that's an aggressive prediction. I think his attributes might be spot on. So what's the problem with Cespedes? Why won't he go diamond? Well guys, it has to do with his center field position. And I've told you since the beginning, I made a video before the game really even launched about the most underrated players in MLB The Show, and Cespedes topped that list. He's really a better corner outfielder, and I'm going to prove it to you. So let's go ahead and edit Cespedes' player, and I want to just edit his position, not going to touch his attributes. So regardless of how he's done this week, doesn't matter. You know he's an 89 center fielder, so he's a mid-level gold center fielder. A lot of people aren't impressed, and his price proves it. But if you move him to right field, he becomes a 94. That's +1 overall, better than Stanton right now. And you're getting him at a fraction of the cost of Stanton's price. What about left field? So he's a 94 right fielder. As a left fielder, he's a 95 overall. That's how well balanced he is as an outfielder with the speed, the arm, the fielding, and the hitting, of course. So guys, Yoenis Cespedes, you should own him and play him somewhere in your outfield unless you've got a legendary or some awesome prime flashback out there. He is truly not only one of the most underrated outfielders in the game, he maybe is one of the best. Now I know the guy a lot of people want me to talk about is Jackie Bradley Jr. of the Red Sox. Huge hitting streak this month, hitting over 400, no signs of slowing down. I took a closer, deeper look. Now he's getting a little lucky with the balls in play, but if you've watched him, you know he is just scorching hot and he's hitting pitchers with authority. Now that's huge. Hard contact rate is there, the walk rate's there, so a +3 I think is very possible. But let's go in and actually edit his attributes. Let's do something we don't normally do with the predictions. So I want to boost his contact and a little bit of power. So let's move that 63 righty up to a 75 contact, and then let's move that lefty all the way up to 80 and a little more power up to 70. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to touch power versus lefty. He becomes a +3 to an 84 overall. Now what's going to really boost him to that 85, that gold threshold, is plate vision. So if developers give him a little more contact like I just did, maybe a little more power, and just a little more plate vision to a 65, you are talking about a 85 overall Jackie Bradley Jr. That is a gold. And really guys, whether it's this week or next, it'll happen soon if he keeps hitting the way he does. There was one player that's been doing almost as well as Jackie Bradley Jr., and that's Marcell Ozuna of the Marlins. Give him a +2, hitting 400, 6 home runs this month. That's 1 home run shy of what Bradley Jr.'s done too. Cameron Maybin, I could see him going up a +2 this week or next, hitting hot for the Detroit Tigers at center field. He's slashing nearly .600 average in his first week of Major League action this season. It pains me to say this, but right fielder Giancarlo Stanton is about to become a gold player. I could see a -1 or even 2 soon. He's been in a huge slump, hitting .170 this month. Contact and vision could be downgraded. Right fielder Mookie Betts of the Red Sox, though, +2. Betts is on pace for historic 30 home run, 30 steal season, a rare combination of power and speed. He's been hitting .300 against righties, where traditionally he's really been a lefty killer. So he's got upgrades on the way soon. Carlos Beltran, +2, hitting .300 this month with 5 home runs for the Yankees, bringing his season total up to 9 big flies. Now, Matt Kemp of the Padres, no matter how much the Devs love San Diego, they got to downgrade this guy, -2. He is struggling to make contact with a worse average than Stanton this month, so look for downgrades. Tampa Bay's Brandon Guyer, +2. He's now the everyday leadoff hitter for the Rays, hitting over .300 this month with 4 home runs. All right, let's head over to starting pitching, where we have a lot to talk about. Clayton Kershaw. I could see the Devs finding out a way to upgrade him somehow. Don't be shocked. Even though his overall is really capped at 99 in the game, this is the greatest pitcher on the planet, so some of his attributes could still rise. And while we're on Kershaw, I just want to mention Chris Sale, Scherzer, Jose Fernandez, Noah Syndergaard, Madison Bumgarner, and Jake Arrieta. All of them are diamonds, and anytime they could be upgraded to a +1, a +3. I mean, Scherzer's been due, Jose Fernandez, Chris Sale, despite his last outing, they all could go up. But one guy that I think has really earned it is Steven Strasburg. Give him a +1. He is a gold 92, so a +1, guys, you know what that means. Welcome to the Diamond Club, Mr. Strasburg. He's been dominating, and not only he beat Matt Harvey the other night and the Mets, he also singled off the Dark Knight. Not too bad. But as for Harvey himself, -2, his stuff isn't the same this year. I saw an interesting stat about how hitters are batting .500 the third time they see him in each game. So the first 2 times around the lineup, no problem. But that third time is where he runs into trouble. So he could figure it out later in the year. But right now, I'm off the Harvey bandwagon. Maybe I'll rejoin. Johnny Cueto, he's found his groove. +1 by the Bay in San Francisco. He's sporting an ERA around 2, and he's got back-to-back complete games. Over to Houston, Dallas Keuchel once again imploded, -2. So after his last start, you got to steer clear of this Astros lefty. Back to San Francisco, Jeff Samardzija, +2. He could go gold, and he's regained his slider and is forcing more ground balls. I like what I'm seeing. Now, Michael Wacha of the Cardinals, give him a -1. Back-to-back rough outings. A downgrade is on the way. Over to Oakland, Rich Hill, +3, a very reliable starter for Oakland right now, an ERA around 2 and 65 strikeouts in just 57 innings. And it's so good to see Justin Verlander return to form. Give him a +1 this week, and that rating is from you guys. I did a Twitter poll today at MLB The Show Tips on Twitter, and I said, hey, what does this guy deserve? A +2 or more, a +1, maybe no change, and it was overwhelmingly a +1 or no change, and I think that's the right approach. Here's why. He's had a really strong May. His ERA is under 3. He's had 37 strikeouts in his last 4 starts. But in April, he really struggled. He gave up 7 earned runs already twice this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets no change or a +1 this week. I think that's the right approach. But keep an eye out on Verlander. Maybe now is the right time to invest. No relievers this week, so that'll wrap up roster predictions for May 27th. Look for them Friday morning. Thanks for watching, and leave your comments below. MLB The Show Tips.